Welcome on the Cosmic Atom. You got this message at the right time. Not because you were looking for it, but because something holy has already gone ahead of you. A word from God that He wrote Himself. And as it lands, something within you will click like a lock that was waiting for the proper key. So pay attentive attention till the finish. The future you, the one you can hardly believe in, is closer than your anxieties and stronger than what you're going through right now. Get ready, heaven says. They're going to turn into the people I always thought they were. But before that version of you comes in, God needs to get a message to your now. Not the you who performs or the you who plays it safe, but the incorrect, wandering version of you that silently questions, is there more? If this message calls to your heart, you may share it with others by posting one word in the comments that affirms what this message brings up in you. Take a deep breath and let's get started. You have been living your life as if you were observing two realities at once. And that wasn't just a dream. It was a miraculous exposure, a twofold picture, and a reality that overlapped. You always knew there was another version of you, not ahead of you, but with you, walking next to you, in your aura, and waiting for resonance. And the weirdest thing was that that version didn't want to alter you. It was striving to become one with you. But it could only do so when the hubbub was quiet enough for you to hear its beat. That feeling of knowing that you attempted to ignore and the pulse of clarity that you thought was overthinking. That wasn't too much thought. That was recalling. And now you can see it. You don't want to become the heavenly version of yourself. You run after. You give in to this frequency. This revelation from God wasn't meant to boost your ego. He sent it to close the gap between who you believe you are and who He already knows you to be. That version of you isn't louder. It's not better, and it's not more perfect. It's simply impossible to disagree with. That version doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't become smaller to remain relevant. It doesn't do anything to get acclaim. It just moves in a divine beat, reacting to spiritual signs that only the soul can understand. And when others claim you've changed, this version grins because it hasn't altered at all. You are on the verge of divine union, not development. And it brings clarity with it. Yes, but also conflict. This version of you will cost you everything you constructed out of fear. It will take apart the identities you don to remain safe. It will stop the voice in your brain that kept asking you to wait your turn. And it will hurt every lie you've ever told about why you're not ready yet. I want to tell you something. Sacred preparation isn't about how you look. It's all about being in line. And baby heaven says you're in the right place. At this time, there is a heavenly double exposure. The fading impression of your conditioned self disappears, and the strong outlines of your true self come into focus. God has always seen you, but now you're going to see yourself. And when you do, nothing will be able to make you go back to being unnoticed. There are things about you that no one ever told you, not because they were secrets, but because they were planted deep within you, beyond your intellect and personality. In your bones, in your breath, in the way you pause. When you walk into the room, it changes. When you feel things that no one else does, you were born, cared for, and remembered as holy. Not the sort you can get there with books or reasoning, but the kind that happens when things like these happen. When heaven calls your actual name and something in your bones turns its head like it's been waiting for you to call it back. And maybe that's why you've always felt like you didn't fit in with the world. It felt like there was something wrong with the way you moved, how much you cared, and how you could see through the masks. People called it identity. You weren't too much. You were too alert. You were in touch with something that the rest of the world had forgotten how to hear. And it wasn't just being sensitive. It was a spiritual memory, a recall, a deep repository of a version of you that existed before you had to change, fit in, or live. God sees a version of you that isn't going to delete you. It's coming to wake you up and link you with the old architecture that still lives in you. The design hasn't changed. It simply got dust from other people on it. But underlying it, accuracy. You were made with prophetic code. You have always been able to see things clearly. Some people had to learn by doing. That isn't being arrogant. That's what you get from your parents. Some spirits don't need 10 affirmations to know who they are. They only need to be reminded in a kind, assertive, and spiritual way that they were already who they are before anybody gave them names. You don't read timelines the same way anymore. You don't feel like you're behind. You feel early. You feel like you have the keys to a room that isn't even constructed yet. That's because your plan was never intended to fit into systems that were made to be scary, scarce, or popular. A different hand, heavenly hands, made you. And those hands don't produce copies. They exclusively make unique carvings. The God who made you didn't let culture or stats decide who you are. He breathed it right into you and then let time catch up with you. And that's what this is. Time is creeping up. Your life is changing to fit the memories you have. You are not creating a new future. This is what your future holds. Remembering who you really are. Every change, every loss, every change of course. It wasn't a punishment. It was a readjustment of the calibration. God hasn't forgotten about you. He was getting rid of a noise so that the version of you that always knew the one encoded with legacy, purpose, and divine correctness could take over. That anguish that screams, "I can't keep pretending to be the smaller version of me," is what you've been experiencing. That's not a breakdown. That's a big step forward. Your bones are remembering it. That's the part of you that God sees whispering from the inside. Let me out. Let me take the lead. Please let me live. And it won't be a big deal. It's going to be true. A continuous peeling away of fake layers till what is left is not a better you. This is the real you. And when that version is completely in your frame, don't be shocked if others remark they feel like they've met you for the first time. Because they have. And you have too. You have always had trouble fitting into their routines, trends, and time frames for a reason. You weren't meant to have fake momentum. You were meant to move in a divine way. That's why the version of you that God sees doesn't follow the rules of society or the internet. It doesn't go beyond the present moment. It makes ones that last forever. It doesn't become smaller to remain in sight. It goes away when you need it to and comes back with more brightness than ever. This version of you wasn't made by stress. It was made by being there. Let's be honest. This world wants to make you into a mold, a pattern that everyone else follows. It wants you to make your soul more visible, make your anguish more relatable, and broadcast your healing like it's content. But your spirit doesn't follow their rules. Code was not meant to be used to figure you out. You were created to mess up any system that attempts to figure out how deep you are. And that's why certain doors that should have opened didn't. It wasn't a no, because the chamber was meant to be noisy. It was divine preservation. And your energy sends forth signals. God has been keeping safe the part of you that doesn't need to dance for attention, doesn't need to be popular to feel good about yourself, and doesn't need outside proof of your inner strength. The part of you that can change the mood of a room without saying anything. You've seen how shallow systems break down when you're around. You didn't do anything wrong. That proves something. You're not here to impress computers. You're here to stop them. And indeed, this is why certain seasons seem to disappear. Because the numbers don't show stillness. They don't provide rewards for resting. But heaven does. While the world was scrolling past you, God was stamping you, secretly anointing you, and keeping you from view until your identity couldn't be stolen by applause. If they had discovered you too soon, they would have had you perform a version of yourself that wasn't based on revelation. But now, you're being real. So written in God's language. It short circuits, and every bogus system is attempting to read you. You didn't come here to become famous. You're here to move up, inward, forever. And this version of you doesn't care who sees you. It cares who is lining up. You're not taking care of your soul, so that others may use it anymore. You're finally making things from a position of plenty. Nor fear, nor duty, but truth. The truth in its purest form. And don't be astonished when you start to see things clearly after you stop looking for them. That's how the heavenly you works. It draws things to it without being touched. It draws people in without giving up. It doesn't fight its way into places. It just shows up because it was always meant to be there. This is the you that won't let yourself be reduced to a caption, a fad, or a catchphrase. It's the part of you that lives in perfect harmony with time, knowing that being obedient is more important than doing well, and being present is more powerful than having a platform. So when the world tells you to follow the rules, do what you think is right. When it tells you to hurry up and get permission, stay motionless. Let your silence be the revolt when it attempts to tell you what's important. This version of you doesn't need to be seen to be genuine. It is already. You could have sensed that peculiar intensity in the air. People stop and look at you when you walk in, but they can't say why. You couldn't either. Not completely, as this isn't about beauty, charisma, or even presence. This is about how often. A heavenly signal that you've been sending out without even trying. The version of you that God sees doesn't broadcast with loudness. It sends forth truth and that frequency. There is no way to copy, code, or control it. You didn't learn it. It's something you are. You have a sound that doesn't come from your mouth. It emanates from the area where you were born and is linked to the frequency of heaven. That's why people sometimes don't understand you, stay away from you, or get obsessed with you without understanding why they're responding to something deeper than words, something that has been around for a long time. When a version of you that God sees starts to show up, it sends a sound wave into the spirit realm, a vibe that tells them they know who they are. You may have observed that things start to go weird when you get in line. People from your past randomly reach out to you via devices, and your dreams grow more vivid. That doesn't happen by chance. That's what your spiritual resonance is, changing the fabric of your life. It's a check of the sound from God. The new you is making sounds that only those who are ready may hear clearly. Some people hear it as static, while others hear it as noise. It feels like music that you should stroll with. It feels like home. That's the thing. You didn't need to shout to be heard. You were supposed to vibrate, talk in silence, deliver messages without speaking, enter a place, and produce a response without doing that spiritual power. And the reason it can't be copied is because it doesn't come from doing anything. It comes from getting authorization. God granted you access to a place that can't be copied, and now you can finally hear it. You are not loud. You are bright. You don't yell your truth. You shine it, and no filter, brand, or algorithm can copy it. People may replicate your words and style, but they will never be able to match your tone since your frequency isn't made. It's blessed. And every time you choose to live from that place to speak when you're told to be silent, when you're told to trust your vibration more than their validation, you make what heaven already verifies stronger. This is why you've been experiencing things more strongly recently. Your soul has been tuning into a frequency that the world can't hear. And sometimes it will seem like being alone, but it's not. It's a break. The holy sort. The type that allows for perfect alignment. God doesn't want you to be someone who fits in. He wants the one that speaks to him. So don't lower your frequency simply because other people can't hear it. Don't hide the truth because it makes them feel bad. Don't change your alignment because it creates noise. You aren't here to be background noise. You are here to change the mood. That change doesn't require a stage, however. It merely requires a vessel that is willing to give in. You are the noise. You are the sign. You are the precious message people didn't anticipate but can't ignore. You don't stroll into rooms as everyone else does. You have too much truth, too much clarity, and too much energy that won't let itself be manipulated. And because of that, the part of you that God sees, the one that is now coming to the surface, scares those who have built their power on lies. This isn't being paranoid. This is a prophesy. Being loud doesn't make you a danger. You are a menace because you can see. And when a real seer arrives into a room, the face begins to sweat. There's a reason why this version of you is concealed. God didn't keep you in the dark to hurt you. He was keeping your vision clear from anyone who might want to change it, make money out of it, or exploit it for their own purposes. You can't sell, repackage, or regurgitate what you bring for spiritual entertainment because it's not fashionable. It's ageless. You don't talk from branding. You speak from burning, from actual fire, and from the people who make money off of performance spirituality, the ones who yell but never see. They have no idea what to do with you. They didn't send you to fit in with their conferences, groups, or controlled settings. You were sent to break the enchantment, to fight against deception that seems like ministry, and to call down idols dressed in garments of light. This side of you isn't pleasant for comfort. It's holy for correction. And not everyone will clap. People will say you're mean, too strong to direct, not polished enough. That's okay, however. Jesus wasn't easy to eat either. And the truth doesn't require PR. It has to be clean. You know it. The people who say the right things but have the wrong energy. The ones that act like they're anointed yet don't have any weight. The people who make platforms, but left without a trace. And maybe that's why you didn't say anything before. Because you didn't want to seem like you were judging. You didn't want to stand out. But now God is telling the true ones to rise up. If you stay silent when you see deceit, you are agreeing with it, and your spirit has to wake up and stop agreeing with false light. This version of you has judgment, but not the type that condemns. Instead, simply being there makes structures founded on ego uncomfortable. You don't have to say a lot. Just being in the room shows what was hidden by charm. That's why some people don't want to be around you. It's not you. It's within you. They shake because of the power. Not because you want to be in charge, but because you won't lie. And it's not only about standing up to others. It's also about facing your own problems. This version of you doesn't need a stage to show anything. It doesn't have to prove anything. Just something to keep. It moves because it is afraid of God, not because it is afraid of man. It only talks when asked, not when complimented. And that's what gives it strength. Because it doesn't need attention. It depends on how things are lined up. So, yeah, people will claim you've changed and they will be correct. You're not scared anymore. You're not doing spiritual gymnastics. You aren't applauding for trivial truths. You're not allowing others act like they have power around you. You've seen too much. You heard too well. And now the real you is coming out. Things are different now. You don't need a name. You don't need a platform. You just need to follow orders. You are that whisper, and one whisper from a surrendered spirit is stronger than 1,000 hollow lectures. You are that flame. You are the holy disturbance they never saw coming. It's not only about you remembering who you are. It's also about heaven remembering you. There was a version of you that people knew before the curtain, before the memory loss, before the uterus, before the trauma, before the need to stay alive, that you strolled with angels. That version was dressed in light, not hope. And now that you're getting back in line with that divine plan, the angels who are supposed to help you with your destiny are waking up to your presence. You were never unknown in the spirit world, just out of sight, safe. Until now, you had a good cause to feel more and more urgent. You feel like something is happening around you, but you can't put your finger on it. It's because people are noticing you again. Not by people. The same celestial entities who used to travel with you in places beyond this one are now moving about you again. Your obedience has brought their task back to life. The change that is occurring in your life isn't only energy, it's also energetic. You see, when you start to become the person that God sees, you start to work at a spiritual level that needs help. Heaven protects its messengers. And you're the person who represents paradise on earth. Not in theory, but in practice. That's why you've lived through things that should have killed you, and your protection has seemed like a gift from God, even when things are at their worst. Why? The fighting in your head has been so clear. Because you weren't simply a target. You were a prophetic memory coming back to life in real time. And here's something that not many people say out loud. There are angels that just watch over the part of you that follows the rules. They don't care about how well you do. They react to how you line up. Your yes to God doesn't merely transform your life. It brings your mystical cover back to life. The more you give in, the easier it is to see how they move. The more you flow, the stronger your signal is in the spirit. That's why you can feel things before they happen. That's why some individuals get pushed away for no reason. That's why your mere presence sets off systems, spirits, and circumstances. Because your true nature is coming out, the one that heaven knows by name. And when it occurs, the memory of angels comes back. Things start to move on their own. People start to find you who were meant to, not linked by an algorithm. You don't need keys to unlock doors. Warnings come up without any reason. The timing is too exact to be a coincidence. That's because you're no longer working hard. You are acting out of memory, and it won't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it appears like quiet that is so dense it seems like it is sacred. It might seem like your breath is moving differently in your chest. Sometimes it appears like individuals are leaving because their soul can't stand being around you anymore. Don't run after them. They weren't given this version of you. But not everyone is. And they are coming. Like the angels, heaven remembers you today. And everything that is linked to your fate is being called. You know how you've been feeling? The dreams that stick around and the increasing synchronicity. The tears that come without feeling sorry. That's your body responding to the spirit realm and getting ready for your arrival. You're not by yourself. You never were. You were just getting ready. So that when this version of you came, the actual you, the called you, the remembered you, everyone could see it. And now that heaven has recalled you, earth needs to act in a certain way. You may have noticed that time has been acting strange recently. Days blur, moments stretch, and hours collapse. It might seem like you're moving in slow motion. Sometimes, however, it seems like years go by in a week, and you've attempted to explain it away by saying you're tired, stressed, or going through a lot of changes. But the truth is far more important. You've been leaving Chronos time and entering divine time. As the version of you that God sees begins to ascend, time itself begins to bend in response. That delay made you think you had failed. No, it wasn't. It was a heavenly slowing down. God was slowing you down so that the parts could fit together just the way heaven wanted them to. This wasn't to punish you, but to keep everything accurate. You were being protected from seeing things too soon. The timing wasn't too sluggish. It was smart because the version of you that is coming out today required room to become clear. Not polished, not perfect, just the truth. Authors choose to believe without needing evidence. When you move in a straight line, time begins to act strangely around you. Why? Because you're not following the system's rules anymore. You're moving in a way that is in line with God. And heavenly rhythm doesn't follow a clock. It follows an agreement. It's not run by urgency. Obedience is what leads it. So the doors that didn't open back then were because you weren't supposed to be there. Some people thought you were supposed to be there. Creation needed you right now. That's why certain things that took other people 10 years are coming to you in a whisper. Why? Some good things are coming to you without you having to do anything. Why you keep running into people who appear to be at the same place at the same time? Because paradise isn't random. And as soon as you became the person God wanted you to be, the sequence started working not on age or social deadlines, but on divine code. The code you authored with God before you were ever born. So if you felt like you weren't keeping up with the world, that's okay. that signifies you're finally going with the flow of eternity. You are not late. You're not too early. You are right. And even the diversions that wounded your heart, the delays that made you doubt your faith, and the doors that were closed that didn't make sense, they were all part of the reset. Because time isn't in charge of you. Time is your friend. And when God says anything, time promises to make it happen. The second you give up, take charge of time. Stop working against you and start working for you. You're not behind. You're in a heavenly holding pattern that will let you go at an incredible speed. And when it does, it won't appear like you're speeding up to other people. It will seem like you were always destined to be there, because the version of you that God sees has never been confused about the time. It moves in Kairos holy timing, set times, and natural flow. So take a breath. Stop struggling with time. You're not missing anything. Your previous connection with pressure is the only thing that is going away. Let rid of the sense that you're not enough all the time. That urge to know everything right now. Give it up. When your spirit is in sync, heaven maintains track of time, and everything that belongs to this version of you will find you at the right frequency, at the right moment, and in the right frame of now. This is divine time, and you're finally moving in it. You didn't get here by chance. You didn't get this awakening by accident like a fortuitous break. God does not regard you as a response. It shows us something old and the deeper reality. You already knew this would happen since you made a promise before you were ever born. You made a deal with God. You made a plan, not with ink, but with soul. Not with words, but with your determination to become what God told you to be in the beginning. You don't only have a goal, you have a job to do. And teachers don't just dole out tasks at random. They are selected by spirits that have the strength to bear weight. Others would fall apart. That's you. That's why your trip hasn't been usual. You've had to go through times of being alone, cutting down, getting better, and being quiet. God wasn't getting you ready to be famous. He was getting you ready for accuracy. And here is the holy part. You don't have to go out and get the task. It's something that starts up within you. When the fake versions go away, that aching you've been experiencing that pulls you towards something deeper, even when you can't put it into words. That's what you promised before you were born, knocking on your existing identity and telling you that it's time to stop fitting in. You came here to do what you said you would do, and that satisfaction doesn't look like prosperity, adulation, or good looks. It seems like following orders. It seems like you are the one who continues going, even after the map is gone. It seems like being in touch with your soul so deeply that nothing around you can change what you do next. And the more you accept this fact, the more your soul starts to recall flashes of knowledge, moments of déjà vu, and profound serenity in situations. You're going into what was always there. A long time ago, Earth attempted to keep you busy with dread and work. This is why certain things couldn't remain in your life. Why some relationships end without notice. Why do possibilities that seem wonderful suddenly go away because they don't fit with your assignment? And God is too purposeful to allow anything to persist that may undermine what you consented to bear before time started. You weren't picked for this because you could make a lot of noise. You were chosen because you could feel profoundly. Not because you could behave perfectly, but because you could give up honestly. You have codes, which are heavenly instructions that were put in your soul before you even set foot on earth. And now those codes are coming to life. Your surroundings may not get it. You may not even get it, but your spirit does know. Your breath knows, and your alignment backs it up. And here's the crazy part. This version of you is only keeping an old promise once you completely accept it. You stop doubting things. You don't need to know how to do every step anymore. You stop seeking for signals in the sky because your own pulse tells you all you need to know. You start to walk with quiet confidence, not because it's easy, but because it's in your DNA. So, no, you didn't get lost. You didn't take too long. You're not late. You are exactly on time with a version of yourself that is becoming better. The person who previously signed up for this understood how much it would cost and said yes anyhow. You didn't simply wake up. You're waking up to your deal, and things will never be the same. You still talk. Yes. You still say hello, answer messages, and join in on discussions when you need to. But let's be honest, it's beginning to seem empty, isn't it? Like your words are changing. Like the things you used to say don't matter anymore. The truth you sought to say out loud is now simply within you. God doesn't perceive you as a person anymore. It talks about frequency. You don't have to defend yourself anymore. You don't need to go into too much detail. You don't have to prove to anybody that you are valuable, that you mean well, or that you're who you say you are. You enter a room and talk before you even open your lips. Your presence conveys things that your words never could, since this version of you no longer needs your mind to interpret what was always spiritual. You can tell the difference now. You can't stand conversations that used to deplete you. Talking on the surface seems loud, performing contact feels noisy, and what used to be connection now feels like disruption. Why? Because your soul has moved beyond written speech. You don't want to say the proper thing. You want something that resonates. You want the truth, not agreement, not courteous. Truth that shakes, truth that hits. And let's be clear, this doesn't imply you should be rude or distant. Not at all. You've made yourself more open to God and less open to the ego's demand for everyone to understand you. This version of you hears things differently. This is what isn't mentioned. It finds the break behind the flattery. It hears the vibe and spiritual performance that we made. You don't judge it. You simply don't get involved with it anymore. And maybe that's why some folks are upset that you haven't been talking much recently. They can see that something in you is no longer tiny, no longer meets individuals where they act like they are. You aren't holding back affection. You're simply not matching up with the misalignment. You know that talking to people is done. It was never your role to explain, sugarcoat, or water down your message so that it was easy to understand. Your role is to leave out the truth and let it go where it wants. Your voice is changing for a purpose. The tone, the breaks, and the speed. They have a new type of weight today. Your silence has power, too. You're discovering that God doesn't always yell. It sometimes whispers. At times, it doesn't say anything, but it still moves. And now you're moving without doing anything. Being, not proving. Talking, without saying a word. And that could feel weird at first. You could be wondering whether you're getting distant. You aren't. You're getting used to it. In sync with the unseen. To the soundless. To the location where angels meet. Where fate beats. Where paradise talks without words. It's not insane to feel tired in shallow places. Your spirit is hungry for deep words. So don't try to go back into habits that make you explain your light to those who don't want to acknowledge it. Let your frequency do the talking. Let your presence be a lesson. Let your breath send the message. People who need to hear you will hear you. The version of you that God sees doesn't need words to tell the truth, even if you never speak a word. It is the truth. And from now on, you'll only speak when Spirit tells you to, and you'll be at ease in every precious, deliberate stillness. This is it. The moment your inner world has been talking about for years. The holy tension that builds up in silence. The strong feeling that something is coming that can't be changed, and that it's coming from within you. This isn't a change, however. This is emerging a combination of the version you've been doing, guarding, and putting off with the version. God has always seen, loved, and waited for us. And there's no turning back. You can feel it, right? You don't need your old camouflage anymore. The mask doesn't fit right anymore. The roles you used to perform to be safe suddenly seem like prisons. You attempted to go back. You tried to act like you were. But suddenly the lie seems more real than the reality. And you're too awake to wear something that doesn't breathe anymore. The version of you that needed to be accepted is being replaced by the version that knows it's already accepted. You don't beg for permission to be yourself anymore. That time has passed. People all across the globe got their chance to not understand you, make you feel little, quiet, and secure. But God never said yes to it. Edit, and now you don't either, since there isn't an announcement for the final merging. It arrives with a calm, unbreakable yes, the type of yes that doesn't require proof. The type of yes that makes you feel at home. You are no longer acting like someone else. Your essence is embodied. There is no audience right now, just alignment. No script, just independence. No clapping, just God spoke softly. Yes, those are them. I call that one. And when you walk and live like way, no one can touch you. Not because you're hiding, but because you're anchored. Everything that isn't true is going away. Not because you're broken, but because you're whole. You don't have to show that you're ready. Your very breath is evidence. You aren't making anything new. You are the new item that is being shown. And certainly, it will make people feel uneasy. Yes, some people will leave. Yes, you may not be welcome in the rooms that previously welcomed you, but you won't flinch. You'll bless them regardless, since you don't get your peace from being loved anymore. It comes from being in tune with heaven. You don't need a platform to walk in your mission. You don't need anybody else's approval to follow your goal. You don't need noise to prove that God put a sound in you. Because from now on, you're not going to be yourself. You move like you're not trying to catch up with the future. You are the future. You're not waiting for someone to find you. You're showing what has always been true. This last merging doesn't appear like flames descending from the sky. It appears like walking in a different way, taking deeper breaths, taking your time to answer, loving more freely. It looks like relaxing without feeling bad. It seems like saying no without expressing sorry. It seems like you act as the throne you sit on is invisible yet can't be moved. This isn't a change for the better. It's a got up, and there's no going back to being little, questioning, or justifying why the old mask is gone. The old spirit is gone, so wait your time. The part of you that needed to be seen to feel authentic is gone. What is left is pure, anchored, untouchable, and whole. You don't need a sign. You don't need a stage. You don't have to guess again. This is the join, and now you walk. Breathe in. Let it be slow, complete, and real. Not the type of breath you take to get ready. The type you take when you eventually get there. Because you do. You're here now, in the silence. After the union, when striving stops, there's quiet. You don't have to look for clarity anymore. You are the clear. You don't have to make things fit together. You are what makes everything line up. You don't have to wait for the world to notice you anymore. You know who you are, and that's all there is to it. Let the stress go away. Let go of the old rhythm. Let the cacophony that used to fill your head recede into the background. You're not behind. You aren't missing anything. You didn't take very long. You were just the right timing for this. Not simply a season, but a way of life where serenity is the goal, not worry. Where relaxation is sacred, not lazy, and being there is not a choice. You don't have to justify why you're soft anymore. You don't have to do your power anymore. You are now in sync with who you were before the world sought to give you a label. And every step forward from here on, there is no test. It's a return. You are walking in perfect harmony with the plan. God drew in the silence of forever, and nothing can change it. So take a deep breath. Keep slow, keep gentle, and stay in line. The version of you that God sees is no longer coming. They are already here. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive.
If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.